Today's episode is brought to you by No Thanks to You.
Welcome.
Brand new Lost and Venom Rat that goes nowhere.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I know that I've been promising you guys Elric. Also got some leaks for the channel. Hitchhiker's Guide by DC Comics.
The celebrated best-selling novel, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What is this thing?
It's the guide. It's got everything you need to know to survive in the universe.
The Mandalorian is back, and...
Can I get a hell yeah?
I'm done with Farscape. My bar is like raised really high when it comes to all these Star Wars sci-fi space stories. Like, is it because, you know, Farscape was such a journey?
Like a boss!
But enough about me bitching about that shit. Mando's back, baby. Season 3.
Fuck yeah!
And dude, it didn't disappoint. I was keeping my guard up due to the fact that, you know, the last couple of Star Wars shows have been, well, shit. Boba Fett was a disappointment. Obi-Wan was complete crap. Andor was boring. But enough of my bitching. Let's get on with the fucking episode. Chapter 17, entitled Apostate, starts with what we think is a flashback with some young little foundling Mandalorian kid. I have to get his helmet. Some giant, what we thought was a mythosaur, is actually like, well, it looks like a giant alligator. And then out of the blue, Din Djarin shows up in that, you know, his new chrome souped up Naboo fighter and, you know, kills the fucking monster. Then he meets up with the blacksmith, promises redemption. Then he goes to Navarro, meets up with Grigg, says he needs a new marshal, and then some pirates show up and they're a complete douchey. And I think it's funny how one of the pirates is named Vane. It's like, oh, how appropriate. He wants to recommission fucking IG-11, but IG-11 still has his old programming, so they try to get these little tiny smaller creatures than Grogu to rebuild it, but it still has his memory chip. Then he goes to some planet and meets up with fucking, yes, you guessed it, Katie Sackhoff herself, Bo-Katan, and she's all depressed because he has the dark saber and shit, and that's how the episode ends. Oh, and on the way to meet up with Bo-Katan, big old dog fight with pirates chasing him, so now we have established a new enemy too, so that's gonna be fucking cool. All in all, fucking badass episode. Does it make up for the last couple of Star Wars shows? Well, I can't really judge on only the first episode, but so far so good, so what?
And then...
Episode 2. It starts with them landing on Tatooine to try to get a part for the IG droid, but instead he gets R4. Then he goes to the mines of Mandalore. He's captured by a fucking crab droid. Crab people. And little Grogu has to go to fucking Bo-Katan's spot to have him rescued. She rescues him from the crab droid, and then he goes to the waters of Mandalore, gets captured, and she rescues him again.
What the fuck is this?
I could say woke, but not really, because she's more experienced. And again, I think it's kind of cool how they try to age her up and look her age.
I mean, come on!
Bo-Katan's supposed to be like probably in her 50s, so someone in her 40s looking in her 50s is okay. But all around, episode 2s of this show, it works. I have a high standard of sci-fi shows because of fucking Farscape. I mean, for one, the Jerry Blank character is basically the same character in Farscape.
Oh, snap.
You just talked.
My standard's very high because of Farscape. And this show, they don't really know what to do after I have that conclusion.
Whatever.
Let's get this all over with Mandalorian. Season 3, Episode 3. And this week's episode had a good beginning and good end, but a really boring everything else. What I mean by that is, it starts off with exactly where we left off. Mando, Bo-Katan, and Grogu escaping the mines of Mandalore, getting the waters of Mandalore, getting proof that they were there to show the rest of the children of Mandalore, or whatever the fuck they're called. Then, of course, you know, Bo-Katan gives them a ride to a ship, but TIE Interceptors show up and it's a big old, like, dog fight, and then he jumps out and gets in his ship, and even more of a badass dog fight. All this cool shit, right? Then they blow up some TIE bombers. So, first thing that came to my mind is first I'm hearing the song, and then... So all awesome and shit, and then they head out and that's all we know so far. They go away. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, we see what's happened to Dr. Percy, and the whole episode is on him.
Who cares?
I mean, congratulations, Disney. You made the best planet in Star Wars, you know, the city planet, the most boring.
What the fuck?
And all these Star Wars shills will go,
Oh, it was good, and it was good world building, and blah, blah, blah.
no, it wasn't. It was boring ass shit.
Like, literally, I stayed up late to watch this shit.
Then meanwhile, we get to the stuff we give a shit about, and Mando and Bo-Katan are on their way back to meet up with their Mando cult to prove that they were in the waters of Mandalore, and they get reinstated into the club, and that's basically it. Again, a wasted fucking episode. I mean, you only have 8 episodes this season, again. This weekend. I mean, I almost feel like the writers were writing for the wrong show. It's like, when did we get to Andor?
Oh, snap.
Mando and bo-katan training with the Mandalorians. Little Grogu's learning how to be a Mandalorian and does a little duel with that one kid in the first episode. Then suddenly some like dragon-looking thing, or basically a T-Rex with wings, snatches up that kid from the first episode. So the Mandalorian warrior adults all work together to try to rescue that kid. Meanwhile, Grogu is bonding with the armorer, and we get a flashback of how he was taken out of off Coruscant. I think it's kind of cool is that Jar Jar Binks plays the Jedi guy. You know, the actual actor. Ahmed Best plays the Jedi who rescues Grogu and takes him off of Coruscant. Then we flash back to the kid getting rescued, and that's basically it. And then it ends with a cliffhanger with bo-katan, you know, saying how she saw a mythosaur, and that's it. That's basically the episode in a nutshell. Pretty quick review, right? But you'll probably watch these other Star Wars.
After almost an hour-long episode last week, we're back with one that's half the length, like your ex's new boyfriend.
If I was a kid, I would have loved this episode.
The episode does give us a chance to see the heroes in a relaxing setting as they contemplate their place in the world.
Shut the fuck up!
All in all, we're halfway through the season, and nothing has really happened.
Come on!
I know you think I'm going to compare it to Farscape again, but I have nothing to say.
After revisiting the Star Wars Expanded Universe from Dark Horse Comics,
Yeah, we were robbed.
Disney just needs to like bring in that time travel element and retcon everything. I mean, they're doing it with everything else.
Come on.
If you're so desperate, you might as well have like a Marvel meets Star Wars crossover movie.
You're admitted to a mistake. What would I...
You own all these properties, I get it, Disney. Yeah, have a monopoly on a lot of shit, and then you fuck up by personally sabotaging.
What the fuck?
You'd almost think you're Showtime.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Finally a good episode.
I mean, come on.
It starts off with the pirates from that first episode invading Navarro.
Meanwhile,
The Republic X-Wing pilot guy gets a distress signal, and fucking Zeb's there. Yeah, from Rebels. And then he goes to Coruscant. There's Tim Meadows. There's the Imperial Dyke, as I call her. And they say they can't help him because it's an independent world. So what does he do? He tracks the Mandos at the cave, meets up with them because the way he was able to track them was R4, tells Mando and all the rest of the Mandalorians about how Griff's in trouble. And then they have this cool speech, and I'm all worried about Vizsla getting all like douchey going, well, they kind of screwed us, but nope, I got his back too. So it's like, fuck yeah! We're gonna see something cool rather than dragged out
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Shit.
Mando's in his fighter, and then all the rest of the Mandalorians are all crammed into fucking bo-katan's ship, and it's this big old like fucking like this Black Ops badassery. Oh dude, and they fucking destroy the fucking pirate ship, and the Mandalorians now got a place to live on, yes you guessed it, Navarro. So they have a home now. Then bo-katan meets with the armorer, and she tells her to remove her helmet. They're like, what? Well yeah, and she's like, oh, I heard you saw the mythosaur. Cool. So that happens.
meanwhile,
The X-Wing pilot guy sees a destroyed fucking Imperial shuttle and saw how Moff Gideon basically got captured by some Mandalorians, and that's where it ended. And dude, there's so many things that like, yeah, this is when Easter egg videos and shit will actually, you know, not just chill out. Well, they'll still chill out. I mean, look at fucking Screen Crush and heavy spoilers. They'll fucking go, fuck that shit. No, I don't want that. I don't want this, you know, rape.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Shit.
I mean, like, we're over halfway done. Took them long enough to get good again. I mean, we should have skipped. My advice now is skip those episode 2, 3, and 4 and go straight to this one. Just go 1 and then this one. You don't care about all the other stuff. You don't care about the beach episode. Make more shit like this and fire Kathleen Kennedy. Fuck that bitch. It starts off with a Quarren ship and a crew, and it's real kind of interesting seeing how they live, how like since they're a water-based species, they have to be in water sometimes, and they run into an Imperial ship, but it's not an Imperial ship. It's a, you're gonna laugh. It's mercenary Mandalorians aboard the Imperial ship, and the reason why they have to take, why they gotta capture them or confront them anyway, is because it was a forbidden love between a Quarren and a, yes, you guessed it, a Mon Calamari. So fish love. So the Quarren prince had to, not Quarren prince, the Mon Calamari prince had to leave with the Mandalorians, and that's the beginning of the episode, right? Then then we meet with Din Djarin and bo-katan, who go on some planet that used to be run by Imperials, and now it's like a free city, but very, very Republic based. And they go there because that's where the rest of the Mandalorian fleet basically is, right? And so we go there and we're like, okay, cool, we're gonna meet up with them. Nope. They go on a fucking detour where they meet with this a Duchess and a dude played by fucking Lizzo and Jack Black. Yeah, cameo. I know where the budget of this episode went, right? And they're tasked to stop the droid bullshit because whatever, who cares? So they meet up with the guy in charge of the droids, played by Christopher Lloyd, and then they do some like what I think was really cool is seeing the just the chemistry with bo-katan and Din Djarin, who are like basically playing like good cop bad cop investigations. Then they meet up with some fucking Ugnaughts, and just how they roll together just is good. I love how, you know, it's been really kind of slowly leading to the will they won't they partnership thing, you know? And then, you know, they go to a droid bar and some random action scene, and then they find out that Christopher Lloyd was behind it, and the reason why he was behind it was because he's actually a former separatist who believed in the teachings of Count Dooku. And then they arrest him, and then finally we actually get to the whole point of why they went to this planet, where she met up with the mercenary Mandalorians. Bo-Katan challenges to a duel, and she wins, and there's you need the Darksaber. So fucking Mando gives her the Darksaber, and it's like, I can't take it, it's not gifted, you know. And they bring up what happened in episode 2, and now Bo-Katan has the Darksaber. All in all, this episode was, again, okay. Had a cool beginning, so we have to see what happened to the other Mandalorians, and the whole like good cop bad cop, you know, investigation thing. It felt like iRobot almost, or Blade Runner, but like a PG version of it. You know, not really wowing me, you know. Like I know I'm spoiled. Like I said, you know, I've been comparing, say, does it hold a candle to fucking Farscape when it comes to plot and character? Not really. And especially I've been spoiled because I've been reading Star Wars Legends, more importantly Star Wars Legacy, and just that has really good character development. And this one, I like what they're doing with Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, and this just felt a lot of forced cameos. I mean, you got, again, Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd, and fucking Lizzo. Really? Fucking Lizzo? Fuck Lizzo. She's a horrible actress.
Whatever.
The Imperial Dyke on Coruscant, FaceTiming with Moff Gideon, and we find out he was actually behind the pirates, blah, 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 obviously. Then we cut to Moff Gideon, who has the Shadow Council, FaceTiming with the other remnants of the Imperials, including Captain Pelion, so Thrawn represent, and Commandant Hux. They gotta fucking foreshadow the sequel trilogy somehow, right? But we find out like they're behind a lot of shit and blah blah blah, cool stuff, right? Then we go to Navarro, and the light Imperial cruiser is now Mandalorian, and we see actually like the markings on the bottom, and they're going, and it's on Navarro. And then we see a camp with the, you know, our children of the Watch with the other Mandalorians. They meet up, have camp, and band together to go to Mandalore to retrieve the Great Forge. Right? And while there, they run into some leftover Mandos who are there. And, I forgot to mention, on Navarro, IG-11 is now IG-12, and it's just a vehicle for Grogu. So that's some product placement there. But back to what I was saying, though, yeah, so on Mandalore, they run into some leftover Mandalorians, and they on this floating airship skiff, and they head to the Forge. And while there, they run into, yes, you guessed it, the Great Mythosaur. Damn, dude, that thing is fucking huge. It's like Godzilla size, like total kaiju. Then they get to the caves after the Mythosaur destroys their air skiff, and go to the caves, go to the Forge, and run into, yes, you guessed it, Imperial Mandalorians. And it's a big old battle. Epic shit happens, and then they get trapped by Gideon wearing his full armor with the Mandalorian helmet, and Din Djarin gets captured, and Vizsla sacrifices himself to have them escape. And it actually ends with the Praetorian Guard, you know, the same ones that Rey and fucking Kylo fought in Last Jedi, like just fucking them up. So we get to see them in action, actually not being incompetent.
Oh yeah!
Damn, this season sucked.
I mean, come on.
Was it as bad as Book of Boba or Obi-Wan? No, but it was a waste. But let's get on to the final episode of this season. Chapter 24, entitled The Return. And it literally picks up where the last episode left off. The Mandalorians are scrambling to fighting the Imperial Mandos, also known as the Dark Troopers, even though they're not really Dark Troopers because they're not robots and they're not all black. But who's nitpicking here? I mean,
come on!
This is YouTube, land of nitpicking, and well, I have a life after last weekend, which I'll talk about that later. But back to saying, yeah, so that happens. Then, Din Djarin, while being captured, he escapes, and Grogu in IG-12 fucking rescues him. Then Axwolf fucking gets to the light cruiser and has all the Mandos like jump on their ships to be reinforcements, while uses the ship as a decoy while the TIE interceptors attack them. So pew-pews there. Then more fighting. Meanwhile, Mando fucking gets to the command center and kills all the fucking clones, and then you find out they're Gideon clones, so all the clones die. And then there's a big standoff between Gideon and Mando, and Gideon really kicking his ass because he has the Praetorian guards come in and they go after Grogu. And just when Mando's getting his ass kicked, bo-katan of course saves his ass. The Darksaber gets destroyed, and long story short, the good guys win. Gideon dies, the capital ship crashes into the base, and Mandalore is restored, and so is the Great Fire Pit thing. I forget what it's called because I don't really care anymore. And Grogu is now an official apprentice of Din Djarin because he adopts him because Grogu can't talk again. Then he goes to the New Republic's base and says he wants to be a bounty hunter. And then he goes to Navarro, and IG-11's back to normal, and now is the new marshal for Navarro. Then it ends with Mando at his new house. So not a lot of shit we wanted or expected. No Ahsoka preview for the new show. No Thrawn. Nothing really that cool. And at least they didn't hint to Snoke they were Gideon clones, so that's kind of cool. But all in all, it's a good ending. But yeah, the best way to describe this episode is blue balls. Because, dude, oh my god, Mando gets cock blocked for any glorious shot. I mean, he had to be rescued even by Grogu. But that's Disney for you. Fuck Disney. I heard that Star Trek Picard is just so much better than what they're doing with Star Wars. So whatever. I'd say special thanks to people, but I gotta go on Sub Pals and YT Pals just to try to get 100 views on here because the algorithm could suck. Coming to, I'm doing a deep, insane, deep dive into the entire lore of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Because if you didn't know this, back in 2012, I tried to start a disaster area tribute band.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy notes that a disaster area, the plutonium rock band, the Galactica mine zones, is generally held to be not only the loudest rock band in the galaxy, but in fact the loudest noise of any kind at all. Oh yeah! I also got the Predator Omnibus by Dark Horse Comics, because fuck Disney, fuck Marvel. That lore is badass. They actually gave the lore to Predator, in Dark Horse Comics. I also got Axe Cop and a bunch of other things, so stay tuned on that shit.
Plus the fucking message is bomb.com.
Chaos is a ladder. Shout out to our patrons, in order of importance, the ShadowVessel, the Fly Attractor, Janitor Jakes, Count MoriVond, Gary Mossberg, and of course Ryan Zacher. If you have any opinions on what I'm saying, like and comment. Just say some shit in the comments. I need more hate mail anyway, because apparently the only way I actually get views is when I piss people off, because this algorithm